So today, I want to share 10 foundational principles that have helped myself as well as my clients. I am beyond excited to share these with you. Now, we only have 1 hour, so I am going to barely scratch the surface to each one of these principles, but I promise you, you are going to receive so much value today, and I cannot wait to hear how you're going to use them and apply them to your life, how you're going to see the positive changes in your life, and also how it's going to impact your life for the better. So I personally use these principles all the time when life gets hard, when adversity hits, when the unexpected happens. And I also use these principles when life is going well, because the more that I practice these principles, the stronger my foundation for my recovery is. And I've shared this analogy of the bamboo tree in some of my meetings before. I have a picture of a bamboo tree on my monitor because it reminds me of this. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the bamboo tree, but a Chinese bamboo tree, it takes 5 years to grow, okay? It has to be watered and fertilized in the ground where it has been planted every day. And it doesn't break through the ground for 5 years, because in those 5 years, it's building an extensive root system. But after 5 years, once it breaks through the ground, it grows an astounding 90 feet tall in just 5 weeks. And I keep, like I said, I keep a picture of this bamboo tree on my monitor. And it reminds me that when I stay consistent with working these 10 principles that I'm about to share with you, over time, small habits will have remarkable results. So let me ask you, who is excited to learn more? Raise your hand, put it in the chat, whatever you want to do. But I am just so excited for you. So let's make sure that you have a pen, paper, phone, iPad, whatever it is that you use to take notes down, because these principles are so important. And when practiced consistently, you will love the effect it has on your life, and you will see a powerful, positive shift in your life. And one last thing, make sure you stick around till the end, because I am giving away a free gift, again, that you don't want to miss. So let's get into it. The 10 foundational principles to thrive in your recovery and in your life. Let me grab a quick drink of water. Make sure you're drinking your water today. Okay, here we go. First one, knowing your why. If you've been following me on social media, or maybe you attend some of the recovery meetings that I facilitate, then most likely you are a person who wants more out of your life. You don't want to just exist or get by. You probably have made some positive changes in your life or want to. But I truly believe at the core, we need to understand the why behind it all. Like, why do we do what we do? And I love the quote, when you find out your why, then you will find your way. It's so true. When I decide to show up and say yes to myself and to my life, people and opportunities, they begin to present themselves. So let me ask you, why? Why are you here? Why do you want to make a positive change in your life? Or maybe you have already made a change and you're in the process of evolving and growing. I know a lot of you that are on here definitely are in that process. Feel free to write it down in the chat. It could be, maybe you want to stop waking up with a hangover. Maybe you want to get healthy, lose weight, gain weight. Maybe you want to stop self-sabotaging your life. Maybe you want a better marriage or attract a partner that loves you for you and treats you with respect. Maybe you want to get custody of your kids back. Maybe you want to get out of debt, fix your credit score. Perhaps you want to stop allowing the trauma that you have endured to give you the reason to stop living to stop living as a victim and staying stuck. Maybe you're sick and tired of letting people down with the decisions you make. My friends, there are so many different reasons. So many different reasons. And let's see, maybe, sorry, I'm blind here. Let me get my glasses on. There are so many different reasons why you want to make a positive change in your life. So my friends, write it down. Put it where you're going to see it every single day. This is vital to change. Write it in your journal. Maybe put it on Post-it notes and stick it to your fridge, your monitor, your bathroom mirror, wherever you're going to see it all the time. And make sure it's where you can see it all the time, because not when, or not if, excuse me, but when life hits, you will have the reminder of why you do what you do all the time. So that's the first one, is knowing your why. All right, let's go into number 2. Identity. So this picture right here, I took this, or not, I didn't take this, but my best friend, my childhood best friend, is now a photographer. And I went to go see her last year, and we did this photo shoot. And this picture represents how I used to wear masks all the time. And identity, I literally could talk about this topic for days, and there are so many layers to this subject. But for right now, I'm just going to briefly talk about living your most authentic, honest life. So many of us find ourselves wearing masks. Like today, literally, we wear masks because of COVID, but you know what I'm talking about, like masks, because we're covering up who we truly are, because maybe some of us feel inadequate, or maybe some of us feel ashamed. And just to tell you a real quick story behind this particular picture. So when I was early on in my recovery, I was attending an outpatient program, and there was, we were having group therapy. We were all sitting around in a circle in chairs, and then there was the counselor there, and all of us were taking turns sharing our stories. And I remember when it was my turn to share, I was telling everybody some really hard, traumatic things that had happened to me. I was, talking about how, I got divorced and lost custody of my boys, and on and on. And I remember my counselor stopping me, and she said, "Christine, do you realize that you're talking about these really difficult, hard, traumatic events, and you had a smile on your face?" That was the first time, or that's when I really realized just how much I was wearing a mask and not being my most authentic self. I was a master at pretending that everything was fine on the outside. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. Making it look like everything's fine, but on the inside, I was dying. I was so ashamed. I was so full of shame, guilt, fear, inadequacy, just not living my most authentic self. And my friends, I'm telling you, all of us, you are so unique and valuable. You have so many gifts and talents that you don't even realize you have. And it's so amazing to go through a journey, and a healing journey of discovering who God created you to truly be. And I promise you, it is a beautiful, amazing journey to find out who you truly are. And it is exciting. It's like, I don't even have words to explain it. But I'm just touching on identity. And I definitely take a deeper dive in my coaching program on this particular subject. So let's move on to the next slide. Let's see, letting go. Whew, this is another biggie. So letting go of what no longer serves you, it allows room for what is meant to be. So this is the power of surrender. Toxic people, letting go of toxic people, letting go of unforgiveness, resentment, bitterness, anger, control. When we free ourselves of these things, it allows room for more love, joy, peace, happiness. Who wants to be more happy, full of love, joy, peace? I know I do. But in order to do that, I can't be holding on to unforgiveness and bitterness and anger. And just a real quick story. I love the story of Joyce Meyer. She's like an example to me of what letting go and surrender and the power of forgiveness is. So if you're not familiar with Joyce Meyer, she is an evangelist. She travels all over the world preaching the word of God. And she shares her story very openly, but she was sexually molested and abused by her own father during her whole childhood. Her mom even knew about it and didn't do anything to protect her. I can't even imagine going through something like that and what it does to someone, what it did to her. And so when she was 18, she moved out of the house, and she talks about how miserable she was in her 20s, just full of so much anger and bitterness and unforgiveness. And I can't blame her. I can't even imagine what that must have felt like and been like for her. And so she talks about how she was just so angry, but then she became a Christian. You know, she started teaching and doing Bible studies in her house. And then she moved on and you know, started a ministry. And now she's extremely successful, has so many books, travels the world. But here's my point. So when her father, you know, got older and needed care, she was the one who came in to help support him and, you know, make sure he was taken care of. And she was able to finally forgive her father and her mother for what they did to her as a child. And the most powerful part of it all is that right before he passed away, she was able to lead her father to prayer of salvation, lead him to accept Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior. That to me is so powerful. Someone who did the most horrible thing that to me can ever happen to someone, and to be able to forgive and let it go. And then not only that, but then help him and then lead him to Christ. That to me, that is my the story, the example that I think of all the time when I am having trouble forgiving or letting go of things that don't serve me. I think of that story. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Environment. So those of you who are in recovery, I'm sure you've heard the saying, you got to change people, places, things, right? So true. And I love this saying here, you cannot heal in the same environment where you got sick. So let me ask you this. Do the people in your life bring out the best in you? Do the people in your life bring out the best in you? Do you feel loved, heard, seen, accepted, celebrated by those in your life? This can be tough because in a lot of cases, the people who are sucking the life out of you or possibly family members. I know I've had to make really tough decisions to put boundaries in place when it comes to family members who don't have the best intentions for me. So where are you hanging out at? Do the places you go support the goals that you have for your recovery and in your life? My friends, it's time to look at your environment, your home, where you work, places you go, people you're with. Do these people, places, and things, do they add and contribute to your life in a positive, healthy way, or do they suck the life out of you? Do they make you feel depleted, angry, frustrated, stressed out, and stuck? It is time to reevaluate your environment. Make some changes. And I just did a TikTok video not too long ago where I did a video about this. It said, the hard truth. I love the saying, whatever we are not changing, we are choosing. I'll say that again. Whatever we are not changing, we are choosing. All right, let's move on. Connection. This is a Brene Brown quote. Connection is why we are here. We are hardwired to connect with others. It's what gives purpose and meaning to our lives. And without it, there is suffering. So power of connection. I can tell you this is the #1 way that I finally got sober and into recovery, was fellowship, connection, community, whatever you want to call it. In the early days of my recovery, I was advised to go to an AA meeting. I was that person in the back of the room who didn't share, didn't say anything for months. But I remember as I kept showing up to these meetings, I remember the people in there. I heard transparency, honesty, vulnerability, and just seeing how authentic the people were in those rooms. From them being that way, it finally gave me the courage to start sharing my story. And when I began opening up and talking and sharing, that is when the healing process began for myself. So power of connection is huge. We are not meant to live life alone. We are created for relationships. We are created for connection. And in my opinion, recovery is not possible unless we have connection with others. All right, moving on. How are we doing on time? Let me see. Oh, we're good. Okay, cool. All right, so mindfulness and breath work. In a world of doing, it's important to take a moment to take a breath and just be. So I want you to do this with me. Let's just do 3 deep breaths. And so so it's called box breathing. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take I'll do it this way. We're going to take a deep breath in, inhale for 4 counts, hold it for 4 counts, then exhale for 4 counts and hold for 4 counts. Okay, so let's just do this together. I love to do this. And I also do this hand tracing thing, but we'll do that another time. But breath work, mindfulness, the present is all we have. There is no past, there is no future. All we have is right now. Right now, as we are looking at each other, this is our moment. This is the present. This is what we have. So let's just take a moment to just be in the present. So here we go. Inhale for 4. Hold it for 4. Exhale for 4. And hold for 4. Again, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And one more time. Inhale. Hold it. And exhale. Let it go. Awesome. Thank you for doing that with me. All right. So mindfulness, being present, not living in the past or future. Again, this is something that I take a much deeper dive in my coaching, and just the power of breath work can literally change your state at any moment. And I do it all the time. I do it in the car. I do it just literally everywhere. Okay. Sometimes people will see me in the car and I'm like, all right, moving on. Gratitude. It is not happiness that brings us gratitude. It is gratitude that brings us happiness. This is so true. So, gratitude, the power of gratitude. I've shared this before in some of my meetings, but I'll share it here. So there is an exercise that I love to do, and I teach my clients as well. And there's a certain way that I like to write down in my gratitude journal. And I don't do the typical writing down things like general things that I'm grateful for. Instead of writing down, oh, I'm grateful for my house, I'm grateful for my job, I'm grateful for my health. I don't do that. What I do and what I teach my clients is to write down 5 very specific things that happened to you in the previous 24 hours. So a perfect example would be, I woke up in a warm bed this morning. I had an amazing cup of coffee. I sat outside and I listened to the birds, or I watched the sunrise. I took my son to school this morning and he was joking around and we had this huge belly laugh. So just very specific things, moments. I like to call them glimmers. Like instead of triggers, glimmers. I love that. So what this exercise does is it trains my brain to start looking for those small little moments throughout my day. I like to call them glimmers. Make sense? All right. Is this helping anybody? I just want to know. Let me see if I can pull up the chat real quick. Yay. Yay. Love it. Awesome. All right. So that's the gratitude exercise that I love to do and what I teach to my clients. All right. Moving on. All right. Prepare yourselves for this. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. Hold on. Let me see if I can figure this out. Okay. Oh, come on. There we go. All right, guys. So just a little history. I used to be a fitness competitor. Yes, this is me, believe it or not. I was not really sure if I wanted to put this picture up, because in the beginning, when I was creating this, I had just a generic picture of a model who had a dumbbell in one hand and a salad in the other. And my husband was taking a look at my PowerPoint. He's like, why don't you put a picture of back in your fitness days? And I was like, I don't know, I'm not sure. But anyways, I put this here just to show you, I think I know a little bit about what I'm talking about when it comes to exercise and nutrition, because I've been there. You guys, the amount of willpower, discipline, structure, consistency that it takes to even come close to looking like this, which by the way, I don't look like this now, but I have this picture up on my vision board because it reminds me of what I have accomplished and what I can accomplish if I put my mind to it. I don't have a desire to specifically look like this anymore, but if I can come somewhere close to it, then I'm good. But anyways, the point is, Exercise nutrition is so beyond huge for your recovery, for your life. I mean, if you're not going to take care of your body now, you're going to pay for it later. So life is not merely to be alive, but to be well. And in my opinion, it's meant to be, you're meant to thrive in your life. And the only way that you can really do that is when exercise and proper nutrition is part of that. Okay. Straight up, no BS here, no fluff. Exercise and nutrition, you just have to do it. And you cannot wait for motivation to kick in, because that you typically doesn't happen, right? I know for me, it doesn't. I have to get up and I have to make a decision. What do I want to be? Do I want to be in the same place that I am right now next year? No, I want to be healthy so that when I'm healthy, I can be and do more and give more and just be my best self. Okay. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But again, we take a much deeper dive in this in my coaching program. Okay. Moving on to self-care. Self-care is not selfish, you guys. Self-care is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation. Self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what's left of you. This was a big one for me to learn early on in my recovery, because I had young kids, I had a job, husband, all of that. And self-care, just like taking time to go and do my nails. Okay. This is like one thing that I love to do. I love to have pretty nails. It makes me feel good. And yeah, so there you go. But like, it just does something for me. Self-care is so important, you guys. You have to take time for yourself, because you can't, when you're depleted, you cannot give from an empty cup. You just can't. So taking care of you is vital. It is vital. So do whatever it is that brings you a smile, that brings you joy. It might not be your nails. It might be watching a movie. It might be taking a vacation like Bobby's doing. Taking care of yourself is so important. All right, moving on. The last one here, I put these together in one slide, but my friends, this is something that I learned at a Tony Robbins conference, and it's so true. Happiness is in growing and giving. And John Maxwell says, when we are not growing, we're dying. And I truly believe that to the core. When we are not growing, we are dying. So what are you doing each day? You don't have to like overnight do this whole long list of things. You don't. All you have to do is just one small, tiny thing every single day. And I have this to remind me, 1% better each day. That's all it is one small, tiny habit. And of course, this book, Atomic Habits, this is all about small, tiny changes and remarkable results over time with consistency. So I know that when I'm growing and giving, okay, ooh, I'm hearing the rain, y'all. It's coming in. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways, growing and giving. I always tell my clients, my friends, that if you're going through a hard time, then go and help someone else. Why? Because it takes the focus off of you and off of your problems and onto someone else. And then pretty much 9 times out of 10, I realize, wow, I don't have it so bad. Like when I go and help other people, I'm like, dang, they're really going through it. So my friends, growing and giving, growing and giving. All right. So I want to hear from you. Raise your hand or put a comment in the chat. Sorry, not raise your hand because I can't see you. Put a comment in the chat. Was this webinar helpful today? I want to hear from you. Was this webinar helpful today? Yay, I'm glad to hear that, Bobby. Yes, Paul. Yes, Juliana. Awesome, awesome. Yay. Okay. Who is going to start applying these 10 principles that I talked about today? Who is going to start applying these principles to your life? Awesome. Good, Pamela. Good, Bobby. Already have. Love it. Who else? Who's going to start applying these principles to your life? Good. Awesome. Glad to hear it. All right. So one more question. Who is committed to start thriving in your recovery? Who is committed to start thriving in your recovery? Yay, Tara. Awesome, Bobby. Love it, Sky. Yes, Paul. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So here's what I want you to do. Let me pull up this next slide. Hold on. Last slide. Here we go. All right. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to this link, second one here, to schedule a free 15-minute coaching consultation. Go to bit.ly/schedule with Christine. I want you to go to this link and sign up for a free consultation with me. No pressure whatsoever. We can talk about your next steps and how I can help you in your journey. So starting February 16th, 2022, I am launching my coaching program, and I am opening it up to only 10 people, okay? I want it to be small, intimate. I want to be able to give my full focus and time and energy to 10 people, okay? I offer group coaching once a week, and then I also offer individual coaching sessions twice a month. So you can find more information on my website, which is the third one down here, christinehmoore.com. If you click on Work with Christine, you can get more details. And of course, you know, send a message to me. You can go to contact me on my website. And if you have any specific questions, let me know. You can also reach out to me on Facebook, wherever, or if you have my phone number, reach out to me. My email is also on here, christinemore155@gmail.com. All right, moving on. Let's see. It makes me have to close out the chat to move on. Okay, so next. Oh yeah, and I wanted to say on the fourth one down, to sign up for my weekly text alerts, go to bit.ly/thrive with Christine text blast. I promise not to spam you, not to send you tons of messages. It's only going to be once, maybe twice a week, but I will be sending you text blasts so that you don't miss out on any exciting announcements about new podcasts, episodes, blog updates, upcoming webinars, and more free giveaways. So speaking of free giveaways, for those of you who are still here, I see you are committed to yourself. So I want to give you a free gift. The gift is this. It's going to be a free 60-minute coaching session, and I'm going to be sending out a copy of Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book right here is life-changing, you guys. Life-changing. So let me pull up participants. Give me 1 second. Okay. here we go. So, the lucky person for today who is going to win a free gift is Pamela Murphy. My friend Pam, love you, my girl. Please reach out to me and I will get your contact information. And that way I can make sure the book is sent to you. And then also we'll schedule a free 60-minute coaching call.